This is Iron TV.
But going through the Straits of Gibraltar was quite a sight, because we were told on board the ship where we were going. They passed out small books of English to Arabic to be used when necessary. Now we knew we were going to make a landing in North Africa. The landing was going to be at Mars Al Kabir, at just a short distance from west of Oran. The time came and the first ships were going in. And I have to tell you, the French did not like the British. They hated them. The Vichy French opened fire, and that was the beginning of World War II in a European theater for the Americans. Because the British went in, they were going to let us go in. There were a lot of ships. There were about 600 ships altogether, and most of them were on the bottom in the harbor. The ship next to ours was hit and sunk with 3,400 soldiers of the 6th Infantry on it. Yes, they were all lost except 3. These are 18 to 25-year-old soldiers. A lot of my friends were on that ship. I knew them all been in the 1st Armored Division. At that time, serious medical aid and almost impossible to get. Within 5 hours after landing, Army nurses and doctors were coming ashore. We landed on the 8th at 5:30 in the morning, and by the November 11th, Oran was completely taken. Just in passing, the 1st Infantry Division was on our right, and I had a brother in that, but I didn't know he was there at the time. I met him 2.5 years later in Germany. We organized and headed east towards Tunisia, and in Tunisia, we stopped to rest. We thought we'd dig trenches like they did in World War II instead of foxholes, so we could get some cover. Oh, that proved to be a huge mistake. Not only was that a mistake, but everybody was bunched up and made excellent targets for the enemy because they could see the silhouettes from a distance. They had a field day. The soil was hard and rocky and difficult to dig. One of the first major battles in Tunisia was the Kasserine Pass, a 2-mile opening in the Atlas Mountains, the eastern end. The Atlas Mountains went all the way from French Morocco, where Casablanca and Rabat is, all the way to Tunisia. Yes, we were poorly trained, and the untested Americans suffered heavily casualties. Almost all of our tanks, seriously, were destroyed, and we were pushed back, and this is hard to believe and hard to take. We were pushed back 50 miles towards the Fayad Pass. Americans really took a beating. It was a disaster. I believe we lost 130 tanks. The ammunition in the tanks were stored on the side and in the wrong place. When an 88 millimeter German anti-tank gun would hit the side of the tank would end up being a ball of fire from our own ammunition, exploding and destroying the crew. The thing that helped was the artillery of the 68th Armored Field Artillery we had with us. They kept on firing and firing and firing, and that saved us for more disaster than we already went through. The Medical Corps of doctors and nurses and medical corpsmen learned a lot about burns, but most of the burns were disastrous and beyond help. Now, when General Patton was assigned to take over 2nd Corps, he was the one that landed in Casablanca in French Morocco. And he came up to take 2nd Corps, and he said, "Where are the tanks?" Well, we said, or I didn't say it, but somebody said, "We have 2 left." True. Then he said, Okay, I'm going to send for tanks that were in French Morocco that the 2nd Armored Division had. And he went up there and says, by what authority? And he reached down on the side and by this, his pearl-handled guns. Guess what? The next day they were on the rail going to Tunisia from Morocco. Now we all remember Normandy and the dropping of the atomic bomb. But how many of us recognize names like Sidi Bouzid, El Guitar, Kairouan, Sukalarba, Wadi Aradid, Kasserine, or Gapsa? To a lesser or greater degree, these battles with long-forgotten names also helped to determine the outcome of the Second World War. That we fought not in Europe or in the Philippines, on some islands in the Pacific, but in the deserts and the towns of North Africa, that might come as a shock to people who never knew in the first place that the Americans and British fought the Germans and the Italian troops, and fought for years in Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and other countries along the northern rim of the African continent.